Hello everyone, welcome to the Statera podcast. Tonight I'm joined by my good friend Simon. Simon and I used to work together for about 3 or 4 years at a company which will go unnamed, I think. But we obviously got to know each other fairly well over that time and had many a good conversation that period. So when I first looked at doing these podcasts, Simon was definitely one of the people that I wanted to get on board and talk to. So welcome along, Simon.
Good to be here.
Good to have you, mate. So we had a bit of a talk about what we might, speak about in this podcast. And one of the really interesting stories that you told me was about your time in Israel and your kibbutz there. And maybe if you want to start by talking a little bit about going from Australia to live in the kibbutz in Israel and why you did that, and what age you were. And
Okay, well, when I was 17, I got melanoma and had a big operation, and they cut it all out. But back in those days, which was, we're talking back in 1974, the chance of survival was only about 50%.
Right. And the melanoma was on your arm?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
So I was basically told that I wasn't expected to live. Go have fun. Go travel. And the best way for me to travel at that stage, I was a member of a Jewish youth organisation, and the culmination of that was to eventually end up doing a year in Israel.
Sure.
So I went and did that, and I just ended up staying there because it was good, and I didn't have really anything to come back to. I didn't really have university in my mind. There's no point in getting an education for the future when you're not supposed to have one.
Yeah.
But
so how did you handle that at the time when you were 17?
Over the top of my head, mate.
Yeah.
You just don't, I don't think I realised the seriousness of it till about probably 20 years later when I was talking to my mum about it.
Really? Yeah, right.
And then it sort of hit home, but at the time, you're 17, you're bulletproof,
Yeah.
Little thing on my arm going to kill me. Yeah, get out.
Well, you're in denial, I guess?
No, not really in denial at all. It's
Okay.
just one of these things you go through. But I never had, that they sort of told me at the time, we've cut it out now, we won't know for 5 years, and if you make it 5 years, then you're pretty much through it, but you're not really expected to make it. This is a pretty bad one, and
sure. You've got a fair chunk out of your arm too, don't you? It must have got right in there and got a fair bit out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they said, if you make it 5 years, but we don't reckon you will.
Yeah, right.
So go and have some fun, go and travel, go and do what you want to do, and so I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so you were 17 and you went off to Israel?
I went in February 75. I was already 18 by then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This the cancer thing happened in September of 74. August, September 74.
Yeah.
And then I left in February 75.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had your operation, moved on, and did what you needed to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up in in Israel on this youth group program for a year, which was on an older established kibbutz. And while I was there, I ended up going for a week to a very, very, very young kibbutz. It had only started weeks beforehand. Very new settlement by the Dead Sea, and I really sort of liked it. So I decided to leave the youth group program and move on down to kibbutz Kalya, which was the new kibbutz down there, and I ended up staying there for 6 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good amount of time.
Yeah. And it was really from the first days. It was,
sure.
My laundry number then was number 21, and yet I was the 21st person there.
Oh, really? Yeah, right. Is it still up and running?
It's doing really well now.
Is it? Okay.
They're going very, very well now.
Yeah.
They've developed tourism in the area, and they're also, I think they're also busy with this, all the the mud you buy from the Dead Sea.
Sure.
You go to the Galleria or whatever,
Yeah.
and they've got their stall there with the stuff from the Dead Sea. Yeah, that's from
Excuse me, sir, can I please ask you something? Can I offer you this?
Yes, can I smear something on your face?
Sure. Always wondered how true those products are.
Oh no, it's very good, and I had later on, I had a friend when I was living in the Golan Heights. I had a friend who had really, really bad psoriasis. If you know what that is, it's a skin condition. It's really
makes the skin all rashy and
it makes the skin all poxy and that.
Yeah.
And the national health system there, they used to send him every year for 2 weeks down to the Dead Sea, and he used to come back clean.
Really?
Absolutely clean. Every year it'd go down, and over the year it'd come back, and then it'd be sent down there. And of course, psoriasis is a disease that there's no cure for. So he wasn't cured of it. Yeah. But it cleared the poxy skin for a number of months. Yeah. So it really works. And all the Israelis go down there. You go down to the hot springs there, and you see them running around all covered in the mud. Because there, of course, you'd have to buy it in a bottle from the Galleria. You walk it in the stuff.
It's just free. Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, great way to do it.
So it is. I do believe that it works. And
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good
so
stuff.
the kibbutz is doing very well down there.
Sure.
Yeah. But the crack. When I first got there, I was into dairy farming. I like the idea of dairy farming.
Yeah.
So I worked in the dairy there for a couple of years, milking cows and feeding cows and doing all that sort of stuff. But the nature of cows is that they break everything.
Right, okay.
First of all, they check to see if it's possible to eat it. You can't eat it. See if you can break it.
Right, okay.
And
just out of boredom, maybe as well.
Yeah.
Just inquisitive nature.
It was sort of. I mean, this was anything but free range. The cows were in feedlots. I mean, today you'd really sort of look at it going, but in the day that was the technology, and that's the way they did it. They only had small areas. They didn't have pastures.
Sure.
So the cows were in the feedlots, and that was okay for them. We looked after them.
Yeah.
But to get the kibbutz welder to come and fix something once it was broken, I mean, you'd tie it up with string and that, and then wait for about 6 months till he'd show up and weld it.
Hope for the best in the meantime.
So they decided to send me to work with a guy. We had a guy there in the metal shop.
Mm-hmm.
He was an older guy from an old established kibbutz. They have this program in Israel where if you've got a new kibbutz, the movement sends people. They ask people from other bigger kibbutzim to give a year and go and live there and teach the people something.
Sure.
Do something. Yeah. Anyway, this guy was a brilliant metal worker, and I went and worked with him for a few months.
Yeah. Had you had any experience in metalwork?
No, nothing. Well, apart from what you do at high school,
Sure.
What do you do?
Cigarette trays and things like that.
I made a screwdriver. And I was really bad at it, and the metalwork teacher hated me. He was always getting up me, So,
Did you keep making left-handed screwdrivers or something, Simon?
I just kept stuffing up, and I didn't. I was no good at it at all.
Sure.
I was really shocking at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I decided to go and do it, and I worked with him, and I learned basic welding and very basic fabrication, and also did a lot of work on tractors because the metal shop and the garage was sort of together. This guy was running the whole thing.
Yeah.
There was a couple other people who'd blow through, had a little bit of experience with mechanics maybe and that, but me and him were sort of doing all the tractor work and all the metal work and everything like that.
It's a quite big machinery, all the
industrial
farm stuff.
Yeah. All we had tractors ranging from little Fiat 500 right up to John Deere 8440s and stuff like that. Pretty big machines and plows and discs and seeders and all this sort of stuff.
And that was a real period of time too in the 70s when agriculture really changed too, didn't it? Wasn't it like in the mid-70s there was really developments in yield produce and...
Well, I don't know because it's the only time I ever started looking at it. So, it wasn't like I knew anything else.
It wasn't relative to anything you've seen before?
No, that's right. Yeah. Before I went to I never had nothing to do with agriculture.
Sure.
I wouldn't know it,
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I'd been on a farm once or twice, but but I had no idea about agriculture.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, I was working with this guy, and like I say, I learnt basic stuff, some basic welding, with welding rods and some basic fabrication, how to make a bed out of angle iron and stuff like that.
Sure.
Fixing things, like going over to the dairy and welding up the fences when they were broken and stuff like that. Doing that sort of stuff. Anyway, during that time, I also got married to my first wife, my only wife.
The only time you've been officially married.
Yeah, the only time I've been married. I'm not with her anymore, but
right.
And we decided to come out to Australia for a visit, so we took a holiday for a couple of months and came out to visit the folks and did that. And when we got back to the kibbutz, lo and behold, this guy who I'd been working with, my mentor, he'd sort of cracked the shits and up and left.
Right.
And so basically I got back and, we've been waiting for you. There's all this stuff that's broken and needs fixing and you're the man.
Yeah, right. Would have been the last thing you felt like doing?
No, not really. No, I was interested to do it. I mean, it wasn't like I was in holiday mode or anything like that. But
okay. But to even have that amount of work, you were okay about it?
I was sort of expecting when I came back to go back to the dairy.
Sure.
That was the aim, that I work with him for a few months, learn a bit of basic welding, and then go back and work in the dairy and be the maintenance man at the dairy sort of thing.
Sure.
But basically, I gone, no, sorry, you're in the workshop now, and okay, no problem, and started doing it. But agriculture, seasonal.
Sure.
Seasons come round. We need that plough that's broken in half.
Yeah.
We need that thing over there. We need that. I did not have a clue.
Sure.
I did not have a clue about how to fix it. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to look at it. Didn't know how to approach it. Like, shit, what am I going to do with that? You know.
And did you tell them that? Did you say, listen, I'm not sure I can do this, or?
Well, of course, you talk to the people. We had meetings, of course, and you talk to them and say, they'd say, "How's it going?" I say, "Well, I'm having a bit of a struggle, really.
Yeah.
Don't really know what to do with it. And we're getting onto, companies and." It wasn't really a setup like here where you could sort of get someone in from an agency or something like that. It didn't really work like that. It was it was the Wild West.
Sure.
The Dead Sea then was pretty wild and rugged, and we didn't really have the facilities or the budget to. So basically, it was that get on with it, And so I sort of got stuff done, and trial and error. Fixed a bit here, broke again, fix it a bit, throw a bit more steel at it, fix it again. Anyway, one night I was asleep and I dreamed the guy who had been mentoring me came back for a day.
Right.
And we sort of went for a walk around the workshop, and he sort of pretty much explained to me how to go about fixing each of those machines that was parked around the workshop.
Sure.
Indians circling the caravan, the wagon train,
Yeah, right. In this dream that you had.
Yeah. And I realised pretty soon in the dream that it was telling me important stuff, and I needed to remember it. Yeah.
Was it like a normal dream, or did it seem more realistic?
It seemed very, very realistic, but at the same time I knew, hey, this isn't real, this is a dream. Yeah.
So like you're having a lucid dream, could be argued.
Yeah. And I when it was done, I sort of woke up immediately and got a pen and paper and just wrote it all down. Yeah, right. I sat there, writing it all down, all these points, sure. Just do that, get this. This is the company that sells this, and this is the company that sells that. You can ring up this bloke and ask me about this. You can ring up the other bloke and ask me about that. Yeah. I wrote it all down, and this was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I sort of got up out of bed and started getting dressed. My wife goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to work.
I've got stuff to do.
I've got shit to do." So I headed down to the workshop, and I was there for like about 48 hours straight. I didn't
really.
Yeah. I just went at it and just got everything not fixed, but sort of in a state where I sort of had more of an idea of what I was doing, and I've pretty much never looked back since then. And you know my metalworking, I can pretty much do anything, and I've been leading hand, and I've been foreman, I've been production manager, and
sure. Yeah. So you believe it sort of stemmed from that one night?
Well, no. I think it's I'm not banging my own drum, but I'm not a stupid bloke, and I think somewhere in my subconscious I worked it out, and that's how it manifested itself to me. Sure.
So you believe it was like a correlation of your learning experience with this guy up until the point, and also my common sense of working it out. The logical way to do it, which, as you know, I'm pretty good at. I can sort of take a problem and sort of look at it and think
break
your way
it
through
down and find a fix for it somehow. And my fixes aren't orthodox because I've never done formal training. I've never done any formal training, so it's really funny now because at the moment, as you know, I'm working as a boiler maker. Sure. Doing this structural steel and stuff like that, and I go along and I'm working alongside these guys who have, time served, and they've done their apprenticeship and they've worked 20 years in it, and I know as much as them. Yeah, no doubt about it. And I can hold my own amongst tradesmen, and that's also vehicle bodybuilding and straight metal work. I mean, at the moment I'm doing simple stuff, which is structural steel. Yeah.
I've always had
Pretty
this.
exciting, but it's very pays the bills, though.
Yeah, with that, yeah, it does. Yeah, I've always had this thing about you. Sometimes when I explain you to other friends of mine and what you can do, and I was like, he's probably the only man I know who could build a rubbish truck from scratch. You know what I mean?
Well, funny
Honestly,
to say that I used to work building rubbish trucks.
Did you really?
Yeah,
right.
You
Okay.
know, I think it's called McDonald Johnson now. It used to be called Nixon's. It's on Collier Road, just near the corner of Tonkin Highway.
Okay, right. Yeah. I know whereabouts you mean. I don't know the place, but
I was leading hand there, but that was back in the middle of the 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the times I came back to Australia, I got a job there and worked there for about 5 or 6 months, and I ended up as leading hand.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can build a rubbish truck. No dramas.
Nice. It's a good talent to have. Yeah. So I want to just briefly go back to this dream that you had, and then we'll move on from there. But it's something I obviously find quite interesting, and anyone watching this podcast, I think the dream state, is quite an interesting phenomena, and what you can learn and what you can obtain, and what the whole reason for the dream state is. See. You don't believe it was something like possibly you were out somewhere in the ether and then he was out somewhere in the ether and then you connected out that way?
No, I don't believe that, because as you know, I'm not that I'm a skeptic or anything like that.
You are quite open-minded still.
I am open-minded, but I think in my mind, my explanation is that somehow I knew that in my subconscious. I didn't actually know it in my full conscience.
Sure.
But it either worked itself out or something that somebody had said had stuck. Or, you know what I mean?
And stored in some part of your brain there, or
yeah.
maybe somewhere else. Maybe the subconscious isn't a part of us. It is something else out there. Maybe stored.
The cloud.
Yeah, or literally like the iCloud or that storage cloud.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. But it was somewhere stored away.
I figured. I think that's what it says to me, is that it was. I had it in my head. It somehow got there. I either worked it out myself or heard bits and pieces from other people, or just like I say, figured it out myself.
Yeah.
But couldn't bring it from the subconscious to the conscious, and that was my brain's way of doing that. Is saying, okay, I've got this shit here, and you need to know it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
The way I can get it to you is like this. You're not listening.
Yeah, sure. Did you in that 48-hour period where you said you went down to the factory and you were just working away for 48 hours? Was there any residual sort of leanings towards what happened that time of your dream? Like, were you still getting bits of information, or?
No, but it was very vivid in my memory, which I don't know how you are with dreams, but I tend to forget them straight away.
Yeah, mostly I do too.
You sort of
you can
wake up and you go, had a dream, but what actually went on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have had times where if I've made a conscious decision before I've gone to bed, like before I've gone to sleep, I really want to remember the dreams the next morning, and I tend to. Yeah. Like, then some part of my brain must activate, and then the next morning I can tend to remember them.
Well, that's pretty much what I had. When I realised what was going on, that I actually forced myself to wake up.
Did you? Yeah.
And to write it down, because I knew if I didn't write it down, I'd know that I had this fantastic dream. This guy told me how to do all this shit. But
you would have gone, oh, this is nice. I'm gonna get back to sleep now, and then forgotten about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe remembered bits and pieces of it, but not.
But no, I do remember that while I was doing it, I'd approach a certain machine, I think, and I'd sort of be able to envision that part of the dream that he was telling me about that. But it wasn't that it was, just like hanging over my shoulder.
Sure.
It's just that for this dream, I actually managed to remember it.
Right. But and you think also the fact it was a lot clearer than other dreams too, that would have helped to remember?
Yeah. I think that the pressure that I was under from all the guys from the fields who needed their tractors and their ploughs and all this sort of stuff, that basically made me very, very receptive to this dream.
Yeah, sure.
And
how old were you?
I was about 1977, so I suppose I was 21.
Yeah, right. You're a kid, really.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to be able to do that and to work through it and sort it all out.
And then not everything went 100%. You must understand.
Oh no, Simon.
But
just read the story.
But I mean, no, you'd fix something and it'd break, and the guys in the field would go crooked. You go, well, what do you want from me? What John Deere did broke, and then you came to me and so I didn't manage to fix straight away what John Deere didn't do right in the first place. So
sure.
Get shitty at John Deere, not at me.
Yeah, be like a head gasket going or something. You had no.
Well, no, just say an implement that was seriously broken, and just how to manufacture the parts and.
Sure.
and what to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And don't forget, in those days there was no Google and there was no internet.
No instant information.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot more difficult. And,
I do.
If you figure also that we were in the middle of the desert with maybe 1.5 phone lines, it was you couldn't even easily ring anybody.
Sure. But on that subject too, what do you think that modern technology and that ability now that we have to gain knowledge straight away and easily, what do you think that does to our logic, our human logic, to be able to work through things? And do you think it affects it?
I think it affects it. I think it's negative.
Yeah.
And also as a bit of an ego thing, you know. I mean, I know a lot of shit because I've got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
But now that counts for nothing.
Sure.
You know, a 19-year-old might know as much as you because you can ask the question.
Yeah.
You know.
He could have been in front of that John Deere tractor going, oh, what do I need to do now?
Yeah.
And you have it up on YouTube,
exactly.
on his phone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know, so that devalues that. But on the other hand, hey, if this is where we're going, I mean, maybe that's it. You know, you look at some kid who just knows Google and you think, well, maybe that kid who just knows Google, maybe he'll be king.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe he who knows Google best is going to be the best.
It's got the power.
Whereas in the old days, if you didn't know the stuff, you hadn't learned the stuff, you hadn't experienced the stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's also a thing of allowing for exponential growth in technology as well. You know, because you can learn quicker. You know, you learn faster about how technology works and what you need to do for this. So it gives an exponential rise to technology. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have to it doesn't take you an hour to figure out something. It takes you 1 minute to figure out something. So you can work on that quicker, and then you get to the next thing.
Yeah, well, that's I think why.
That's the nature of technology.
That's why the technology is booming as it's done. I mean,
yeah.
Well, what do they say? The technological advances of the last 100 years have outstripped everything of the last million or something.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Yeah, well and truly. Well, that we know of anyway.
Well, once you start it rolling, I mean, it rolls, you know.
Yeah.
But the downside of it is, of course, it doesn't matter how good you are at Google, we've still got to build stuff.
Sure.
We've still got to weld stuff. Stuff's still going to break.
Yeah.
You know.
And then
apart from knowing just how to look up what to do about it, you've got to be able to do it as well.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and steel remains steel, and wood remains wood, and
you
still got to work it. You know, I mean, sure, we've got the technology now. You can get machines that you want to fold a piece of metal in a certain way. You program it in and press a button, and folds it up for you. And before you have to work out the angles and get some heat, and you know, I mean, you'd reach the same result in the end. But you know, so. And
don't forget too, if we ever have to resort to going back to the paleo era and we have to start hunting and killing our food and making our own shelter and doing things like that, and if we don't have the technology, I mean, how are we going to do it? The knowledge, yeah, exactly.
That's the problem, and
because that could happen.
I think it's a combination of the technology and also I don't know if you'd call it political correctness or just the way the whole world is going. I mean, I've commented on it before how, you know, with all the, I mean, don't get me wrong, safety is a great thing. It's terrific that a guy can go to work and come home to his family at the end of the day and all those cliches, you know.
Sure.
And, you know, and it's very real, of course, but what we're doing with this constant upgrading of safety is completely removing common sense from the equation.
Very much
and that
so.
could even be more dangerous. You could go, you know, because guys will go, oh, it wasn't written on that JSA or whatever, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I resolved myself of all liability, even though I'm lying flat and crushed under a girder.
Sure.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
So what, you know?
Yeah.
Just a little, I mean, I'm working on a project now. We're doing all the structural steel for aggregate shed up at the new Wheatstone project in Onslow. Things like, okay, we went to, I did a bundle of angle lines and then certain holes in certain places, a whole bunch of them. And then I went and got some tie wire and wrapped them up in bundles, and the boss comes, no, you can't do that anymore. Not allowed any sort of steel strapping or
yeah, right.
It has to be all plastic strapping because someone cut his hand on some packaging strap, you know. Now that sort of thing, I mean, a guy is unpacking that stuff. I mean, I unpack stuff like I do all the time. The steel comes wrapped in, you know. You get bunches of girders wrapped in, and yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful of it. And there's a certain way to open this stuff, you know, so that it springs away from you, and you know. Yeah. But if you're just taking it out of the equation, then you're going to get guys working who just have not got any clue about anything, or not know how to look out for them. They'll be like as defenceless as babies, because they're just mollycoddled out of any sort of common sense. Any sort of common sense is just removed from the equation. And this starts with kids as well.
Well, yeah, I was going to make that point too. I mean, this is really what we're doing with kids now.
Yeah.
But I was
you can't climb the tree, and you can't cubby house.
You can't scratch your knee even. Just be careful. Don't run on that bitch.
Exactly. I mean, when I was a kid, we used to muck around. We used to go down the swamp and catch tadpoles and get crook, and you build a cubby house and the bloody thing would collapse, and But that was all part of growing up, and it's been proved since. You've got a certain amount of part of growing up is risk taking.
Sure.
And knowing how to take a risk and to assess it and to and we're removing
and learn from it though as well. That's the main thing.
And we're completely removing that now. Because if it doesn't say so on the JSA or on the
or on Google,
then it just doesn't exist.
But is that all right though, Simon? Is that just the way we're heading?
Well, it's definitely the way we're heading, but I don't think
it's obviously the way we're heading. But
I don't think it's necessarily a good thing.
I don't think it is. I mean, and obviously, I think I've probably just caught the tail end of that era. Computers came out when the internet came out when I was about 12, 13.
Yeah. Well, I was a lot older,
Sorry?
I was a lot older than that.
Yeah. You had a bit of years ahead of me, but I had those years where we really just had to look out for ourselves. We play in the creeks, play in the bush, and climb up trees, and I know kids still do that as well now. But it seems like, from what I can see from my friends' kids and my nieces and nephews, a lot more time is spent with technology and not incorporating those risks that come into their life. And it's just that's the way the life is now.
And I see it also through that technology, which enables us to know instantly about everything anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
Everybody's paranoid now.
Sure.
No, I mean, in my day, from my first day in primary school, I used to go to school by myself on the bus.
Yeah.
And so did everybody.
Yeah.
And in high school, I used to get on my bike and ride to high school, and so did everybody. And I remember at school it'd be maybe a handful of parents who would actually drive their kids to school. And in most cases, they were driving them to school because it was on their way to work anyway, so they might as well drop off the kids. And nowadays, you go past a school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or at 8:30 in the morning, and it's just that there isn't a kid there that isn't being picked up by a parent. And that was also a good part of life, because you got to walk home with your mates or get on the bus and get up to all sorts of mischief and go to the lolly shop on the way, and
I think there is another reason for that too. Back in your day, and even mine when I was at primary school, most families only had one car as well, so usually be the old man out working. And there wasn't really any other opportunity. We had 2 cars, but a lot of my friends growing up, they only had one car in the family.
We had 2 cars.
But we did. So we just used to walk home most of the time, unless it was pissing down rain and it was a special treat. Mum would come and pick us up and take us home. But it's definitely the way that it is now. But
and then they reckon that that everyone's going, stranger danger and all this sort of stuff. But that's the whole problem with the technology, is that apparently there's no more stranger danger or attacks on little kids by weirdos and all this sort of stuff than there was in the 50s.
And I remember,
so we know about every single case of it, and it's drummed into us, and we all go like this. I mean,
and the media is a big part of that as well.
The media and technology, I put that together.
And they use it to like you said, drive fear. So then you again watch the media, so you're like, oh shit, I've got to watch the news tonight because I saw this story about this and this and this. But I don't know if you remember, you and I did speak about this once a couple of years ago, and I asked you, I think, was it any more prevalent back in the 50s and 60s? Instances of child abuse and all this sort of thing, and it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't any different to what it is today. It's just very much more. I'd believe that too. It's just much more aware of it now.
It's just you see, in those days, you didn't know about it. You didn't know about some little kid that had been kidnapped in London, or some kid that had been, I don't know, whatever, in whatever country, and you just didn't know about that. But now you open up the internet, boom, there it is all in front of you. You know it instantly in the morning when you get up. You look at, I mean, I do. I look at my, I've got one of those little tablets. I get up in the morning, and I've got the West Australian, and I have a little look at the tablet as well, and instantly, the cricket scores from Bangladesh, and everything that went on in China, and you just know everything straight away. So to to the parents of today, it just seems like, wow, this stuff is thick and fast. It's, you know, coming at you from every angle. Kids are getting kidnapped and bumped off and raped, and all sorts of horrible things that happen to them all the time.
Sure.
But in actual fact, and look, every one of those occasions is a tragedy. But I don't know, you know, this is I look at it as this is nature. I mean, you've got a certain path in life to get through and survive and get past, you know.
To help learn in this human experience.
And to become the adult that you're going to become.
Yeah.
You know? Now, in nature, look, some of us don't make it.
Yeah.
You know?
You're talking about the greater animal kingdom as well?
Yeah.
You know, as well as humans?
Yeah. Everything like that, you know.
Yeah.
Some of us don't make it. You know, and okay, now maybe more of us are making it, but at what cost?
Yeah, at what expense? Yeah.
You know, I mean, you look at some of the people that are coming through today. I'm not saying, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. You know. you can say some controversial things.
Sure.
You know.
Don't start this when I was a boy stuff, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
No. It's not even that sort of thing. I mean, you could. I'm going to be really controversial now, and you could say, well,
go for it.
Maybe the advances in medicine are no good either, because maybe we're getting the gene pool.
That's a possible
explanation. Maybe there was people that, you know, they weren't meant to make it.
Yeah.
And are we actually doing the best thing? I mean, sure, they might turn out to be a great person and everything like that, but are we really doing the right thing by actually keeping these people alive at all costs?
We're not following the Darwinian natural order of things at the moment.
No, we are definitely weakening the gene pool. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a you know, none of that, of course. Sure. But there is merit to that argument that by the advances in medical technology, that we are maybe people that shouldn't, but that nature didn't intend to make it.
To the detriment of our society.
To the detriment of our society and our gene pool.
Sure.
You know, but I don't want to say that because, look, you know me, I've worked in disability organisations as well, and but if you're looking at the bigger picture, and if you're looking at it in the cold hard light of day, are we really doing? And sure, if we just keep it to people now, we'll leave the animals to the side. But if you keep it to the people, the parents and the family of every one of those kids who don't make it, it's devastating. It's the worst thing in the world. And you know, so you can understand why everybody wants to keep their own family together and
you would do
look
whatever
after their own. You know, I mean,
you've got kids, Simon. I'm sure you would have done whatever it took.
For, you know, for whatever. You know?
Sure.
And of course you would. But look, I don't have that. I don't have to ask myself that question because, you know, praise be to whoever, my kids came out good and they're both healthy and they've both got all their arms and legs and, you know.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had to look at that, but you look at some other people who aren't so lucky with how their kids come out, or you know, and you got to say, well, I what would I do in their position? I don't know, because I'm not in their position.
Do you think though that with the advances in technology allowing for kids who might be sick or born ill to be able to still live and progress your life, that the polar end of that, so the polar opposite of that, then it allows for the greater spectrum of humanity? Like it really allows for humanity to progress and give those caring attitudes, give those loving attitudes, help keep driving technology to help those people less fortunate. So well, there's a yin and a yang.
Yeah, of course there's a yin and a yang to it, but I said, that's very true, but if I look at, you know, and knowing it better now through working for DreamFit, if I look at the amount of resources and effort and care that has to go into each one of these people, and like I say, you know, I don't have anything against anybody like that.
No.
But my question is, are these resources finite? And when we get to the stage where we just can't handle it anymore because we haven't got the resources,
quite possibly,
both human and you know, mineral, you know, commodities, money, because everything, unfortunately, everything's driven by money. Yeah. So you know, what happens to one of these people that, you know, it costs, I don't know how many thousands of dollars every day to keep them going because they need this and they need that, which is all fine. But what happens when we get to the stage where we just can't do it anymore? What happens then? Do we go seriously backward, and might we think then would have been maybe better if it didn't develop this way?
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard question.
It brings really, to me, then brings into the question: are we nature? What are we doing? Are we nature? Are we dictating nature? Which, from outside looking in, for me, when I take myself away from, I think we're really dictating nature through our courses in technology, through developing environment and really wrecking the environment.
I think it's close what you're saying, but I think you've got to add a word there.
What's that?
You say we think we're dictating nature.
That's very true.
And every now and then nature gets up on its hind legs and let us know who's really dictating what here.
I've got no doubt, if we do tip things over scale and we wreck the environment to a point that we can't live in it anymore, the Earth will be fine. Nature will be fine. The trees will start growing again, and you know, whatever will happen. Just humans will be gone. There'll be a few animals left. You're right.
There'll be a few humans left as well.
Yeah. It's definitely an egotistical thought pattern that we think we can dictate nature and we can do what we want to nature and everything's going to be fine. Because the time will come when nature will just go, no, this is.
It happens now. I mean, you look at this tsunami that happened in 2005 on Boxing Day.
Yeah. But that wasn't man-made though.
Well, but that was nature getting up and saying, whatever you guys can do,
okay, sure,
like that.
Yeah, you can build
250,000 of you are gone.
Yeah, you can build your towns, you can build your villages. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. When I feel like and volcanoes and fires and earthquakes and look at these tornadoes in America, just ripping the place apart. Hurricanes, storms.
You could even, call a great big fuck off asteroid part of nature as well, All it takes is one of those.
Absolutely it is. Yeah. Absolutely it is. And any one of these things can happen.
Yeah.
And at any time nature can just say, right, you guys have been up yourselves for too long, have a bit of a zap going on here,
I've definitely got a theory that has happened to us in the past. I've read a few books on the subject about ancient civilizations, and I'm very unlikely. I believe it's very unlikely that we're the only civilization that's been here on this earth to this extent.
Absolutely, that's very, very, very short-sighted and narrow-minded thought to think that.
Well, it's absolutely become a religious doctrine though now. Unfortunately, no, the earth is only, to some religions, the earth is only this thousands of years old. And
ask the Godfathers, and they reckon it's all intelligent design. Now that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm still open to that idea. Just time frames. I don't know, like how am I supposed to know? But just time frames, I think are off.
Well, if I look, I've had a few discussions with some religious people about it, some Christians, and if the whole base of their intelligent design thing comes down to one little creature. It's a microscopic little creature. Yeah. They reckon couldn't possibly have evolved.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Everything else you can prove it, but this one little creature now, like you say, that might have ridden to Earth on an asteroid. Yeah. That might have got here somehow else.
There's been a thing going around the internet the last couple of days about someone's proven that life on Earth has come from Mars. There's a whole theory's been going on.
That's the whole L. Ron Hubbard thing. That's the whole Scientology thing.
I haven't read it, but apparently there's, and if anyone's out there wants to check it out, look it up. But there's something that's come out in the last couple of days. Who knows? It might have been some crack. Just whacked out scientists that come out with that. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, I've heard that. I had a very good friend in Amsterdam who was a South African guy, and he fully believed that the white man, that we came from Mars.
Yeah.
But he had and this is going back quite a few years, but he had a few holes in his theory. Well, they weren't holes then, but they are holes now.
Yeah.
Things like why did every probe they tried to send to Mars, just when it was about to send photographs, it stuffed up.
Sure.
So we couldn't see those photographs because someone didn't want us to know.
Yeah.
But now we've got the technology again.
I think that's more. It's just technology's better.
And we've sent satellites, and they've sent back the pictures, and now they've found water on Mars and stuff like that. So this could be where it comes from. But that theory's been banging around for a long time. That the white man, we came from Mars and we landed here. There was other parts of it too, like you didn't find any reference to white men or anything made by white men or drawings by cave people of white men older than 5,000 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Whereas you got Aboriginal painted, what do they go back 50,000 years, 100,000 years, whatever. You know?
And there's African cave paintings as well. The I can't remember the name of them now, but I'm sure.
I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about. But they've got like depictions of the star system Sirius and its movement and alien-looking creatures, and it's going back about the same sort of time period as well. Yeah. So it's definitely been out there. Yeah, but as far as white man goes and our sort of context of art and creativity in the world, it's really just a blip. Yeah, so quite possibly. Yeah. Quite possibly.
Well,
it's only been...
Anything's possible. We don't know anything. And
we don't, do we?
You can't count anything in and you can't count anything out.
Exactly right.
Tony Abbott, eh?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But then in the meantime, it's like the whole thing of... I wouldn't say the phrase, don't trust anyone is really applicable, but it's really up to you to make your own mind up and investigate yourself, isn't it? Yeah. So I want to just take it back around to... I guess your travels, you spent some time in Israel then, and you got married, and then you decided to move on from Israel. So... off to Amsterdam. So can you tell us a bit about that as well? And
why?
Yeah, why and your time there. And
okay, well, I left Israel. Basically, what happened? Yeah, I had.
You served some time in the army as well.
Yeah,
you had to serve some time in it.
Yeah, you do your time in the army, and then you do your reserve duty a month every year.
Yep. And you were there at a pretty critical time in Israel's history too, or just after a critical time in Israel's history.
Yeah, just post the Yom Kippur War.
Yep.
And so I did, but basically I had this Scottish girlfriend, and we went off to try out Scotland for a few months. It didn't work out, so I came back and...
Was it the weather, Simon?
Yeah. No, ice on the inside of the window in the morning just doesn't do it for me.
Growing up in Perth, yeah.
But basically on my way back through London, I was going to go back. I had a boat building business going by this stage in Israel. I was working with this Australian guy who did wooden ships, and I was working with him. I'd left the kibbutz. But basically, when I went down to London after being in Scotland, I saw an ad that you could go to Holland for £20 or something like that on the bus. And that night, I was at my cousin's place in North London, and we were watching one of those travel programs, and it was all about Amsterdam. And I put the two together, and I thought, 3 days of Amsterdam should be good fun.
Were you with your wife at this
No.
stage?
No. I just split up from this girlfriend in Scotland.
Right, in Scotland, okay, yeah.
And so I went to Amsterdam for 3 days, and that sort of turned into a couple of months. Yeah. And I thought I'd better get back to work, and I went back to Israel. And in the meantime, the first Intifada had started.
What's that?
The Palestinian uprising.
Okay, yeah.
It's called Intifada. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I really got to learn more about... I know bits and pieces about Israeli-Palestinian history. I need to know more, but yeah.
But anyway, that Intifada, which was basically an uprising.
What year was that?
No, you got me. I was 87, 88, around there.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah, something like that. End of the 80s, towards the end of the 80s.
Was that Yasser Arafat coming on board?
Yeah. No, he'd been on board for a long time, but this was more the Palestinians themselves just uprising, taking to the streets and rioting and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And so this had happened in the meantime, and I had my month of military duty, the reserve duty coming up, and I was in a unit with all other guys that I knew from the kibbutz. They were all together in this unit, and what we usually did was border patrol up there on the Golan Heights, on the Syrian border, which was okay. It's, you can see, we live in a country where you need to patrol the borders to keep nasties out. So you take part in that, no problem. I didn't have a problem with that.
But otherwise, it was fairly passive. It wasn't.
Oh, there was
no
war
for your life, or
no. There was none of that going on. It was just most of the stuff in the army, when it's not full on action, is just dead boring.
Yeah, sure.
There's monotony,
I've had friends in Defence Force. Yeah.
And so basically, that's what we used to do. Is once a month for a year, we'd do 3 days training, refresher course on the weapons and stuff like that, and then we'd do a month of patrolling. At night, we were just sitting on the back of a command car going up and down the fence, and they had next to the fence they have a sort of a dust road that gets raked at sunset every night, and then you can see footprints, very good special dust that keeps footprints.
Sure.
So you're just patrolling up and down, doing a 10-kilometre stretch up and down, and got a tracker in the front of it just checking out the footprints on the road and whatever. And nothing ever happens. It's pretty boring,
Yeah.
But it's okay, so you do your bit.
Sure.
But this one time, because the Intifada started, our commander, he was a real gung-ho idiot, you know.
Right.
He was one of these guys that, you know, oh yeah, shooting, killing, yeah.
You know. It's my time to shine.
Yeah, exactly. He was a guy. He was a war hero. I mean, he'd been wounded in the war. He only had half a foot left because he still did the do and you know, really go. But he had sort of volunteered our unit to go to Gaza and be riot policeman in Gaza.
All right.
Yeah, and
nice.
for me that was like a little bit of a bridge too far.
Yeah, sure.
And basically the way it works in Israel, or I don't think it's like that anymore. But in those days, you get your call up for reserve duty about 40 days before you actually had to do the duty.
Okay.
And once you'd received the call-up papers, you couldn't leave the country until you'd finished that duty.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So basically I went to the, when they said I heard that we're going to Gaza to be riot policemen, I sort of, and this doesn't say anything about my views on right, wrong, Israelis, Palestinians, or anything. It's a huge, complex thing. I've got my views on it, you know.
Because I'm sure we probably mentioned this. You did say you were in the Jewish youth.
Yeah.
But you are from Jewish heritage,
I'm Jewish by birth. I'm not religious at all.
Sure.
But anyway, I went to the army and told them, oh look, I've just come back from Amsterdam. My girlfriend was supposed to be following me.
Yeah.
She got run over by a train.
Would you believe it?
Would you believe it?
Yeah.
And anyway, they gave me a pass for a week. They said you can go for a week.
Yeah.
But if you don't come back after that week, then you're considered AWOL.
Right.
So that was my beginning of my career as an AWOL.
Yeah, sure.
And I just went back there because I'd just been to Amsterdam. I didn't really have anywhere else. So I had nothing to come back to in Australia or anywhere else. And things were going pretty good for me in Amsterdam. Hey, it was a cool place. It was a nice place to be. You know?
Yeah. Was that was really starting up back then in Amsterdam?
It started up pretty much in the 60s. This was we're talking here in the 80s. So yeah.
Okay, sure.
It was well
been going for a while.
Yeah. Hey, it was a cool place. And
yeah.
So nice things were happening, and I was meeting nice people. And I thought, I'll go back to there. You know.
If you had a choice out of hanging out in a wicked place in Amsterdam, smoking a bit of dope, or working in a Gaza Strip on patrol, what are you going to choose?
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer, really.
It is, isn't it?
No, but it was deeper than that because it wasn't. Look, I could have done that month.
Sure.
In Gaza, and it would have been over. It was actually that was the time when I had to sort of decide. Right, it's a life-changing thing. I was actually leaving one country and going to another.
Sure.
And just
my statement was definitely glossing over that. Yeah, I put more of a superfluous notion on it, but yeah, I'm sure it was intrinsically probably a pretty tough decision for you as well.
On the spot, pretty much I had to make a decision. Right, that's it.
Yeah.
And like I say, I also had a bit of a thing going with Tom on working on the boats.
Yeah.
So I had to decide to chuck that.
Yeah.
And had to decide pretty much to chuck. Well, I'd been living in Israel for 12 years then. And I knew the language. I had people there.
It's a fair amount of time, 12 years.
Yeah. I pretty much had to make the decision. Right now, I'm going to have to change my life. And
sure.
I changed my life to. I went completely because I in Amsterdam for the first 10 years, 8-10 years. It's completely illegal.
Well, yeah.
Didn't have any visas.
Yeah.
I did work, but I didn't pay any taxes. I just did not exist, basically. And
so just all cash stuff.
Worked on the black, cash in hand.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of travelling during that time.
Yeah.
I had three different passports.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I didn't actually get legal in Holland until my partner got pregnant with our first child.
Okay.
And then I sort of pretty much had to stick my head above the parapet and say, right, this is how we live.
Here we are.
Sure. No, she was legal, but I wasn't.
Right. Yeah. And Annie was from Britain, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So what sort of jobs did you undertake in Amsterdam when you got there? What sort of work? Can you briefly just go through some stuff you did?
When I was first there, when I first got to Amsterdam, I ended up in this youth hostel that was run by the Rajneeshis.
Yeah, cool.
Remember the Rajneeshis?
Yeah, sure.
Bhagwan people.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for a couple of weeks, and then they came up to me and said, right, we only allow people to stay here they had a commune going there in Amsterdam, and part of the commune was this youth hostel. Really nice place, really cool.
Did Osho ever come to
No.
Amsterdam?
No.
Ah, what a bugger.
Not really.
What about Sheila?
No, Sheila only manned him up, you know. But
When she wasn't getting arrested in America.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, they came to me and said, we only allow people to stay at the youth hostel for 2 weeks, because after that they started. It was a pretty open sort of a place, and that people start to know the systems and how to rort it. And, you know.
Did you get right into the Rajneesh?
No, not at all.
You were there and you observed it. Yeah.
They said, so you can't stay here any longer as a guest, but if you want, we can put you on as a worker.
Okay.
I was, yeah, sure, no worries. And so I started off there as a handyman.
Yeah.
Which was pretty relaxed, I must say.
Sure.
Hang out in the garden and smoke dope with the tourists, and someone come and say, "Oh, there's a light bulb there." Change the light. I did a few larger projects that I had to put in the main pipes for the whole central heating thing. They all rotted out, and so I had to do it. So I did a couple of major sort of building things there, and then after I thought, because they came to me and said, I said, what do you do as a worker? You can work in the kitchen. I said, no, I don't do kitchen.
Yeah, sure.
Work as a cleaner, don't do cleaning. Okay, handyman. Yes, I got the handyman gig. Anyway, I used to hang out a lot with the runners. Now, runners are people who they go down and hang around at Central Station all day and try and grab people off the train or off the platform and send them back to the youth hostel.
Right. Okay.
That's the only way you get people to go to you.
So they go, listen, we've got this place, come check
flyers,
it out.
You got flyers here, you go, but it's dodgy because it's illegal.
Sure.
And the cops are after you and on your case the whole time. So sort of
Yeah.
a little bit like a video game.
Yeah, sure.
Go and grab a couple of backpackers, shove them on the tram, up there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I used to hang out with them, and then one of them left, and then they came and offered me the job of being a runner. So
Okay.
I worked then as a runner for about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that commission based or how did that work?
Yeah. You get it was guilders back then. It wasn't euros. I think you got 3 guilders for every person you sent for the first night,
Okay.
and a guilder and a half for every consecutive night they stayed. Sort of.
Okay. Yep.
So you could be doing nothing and still raking in the money because people you've put there are just staying there.
Yeah, sure. They're going to go there anyway.
They're not going anywhere else. They're just hanging there, and you're getting paid every day.
Sure.
You get a room. We got a room each, and all the meals and lawn. It was paradise.
Yeah. How old were you at this stage?
I suppose I was 30-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've gone from like quite a constructive sort of rule set of living in a kibbutz, which even though they're fairly open, there's still you've got your some regimented and all that, and you're obviously in the army. So you've gone from that to this lifestyle in Amsterdam, which was just total opposite. Open slather, yeah.
And then after about 8 months of that, the youth hostel actually closed down.
Mm-hmm.
That was because of internal ructions with the amongst the Rajneeshis.
Yeah.
And that was a whole dirty. But then I was just spat out into Amsterdam, and then I started using my skills again.
Yeah.
A bit of a job here, a bit of a job there,
Yeah.
And then I sort of started doing my own thing, renovating houseboats.
Right.
Once again, cash in hand.
Sure.
Working mainly for drug dealers who were cashed up.
Yeah.
Didn't mind paying cash.
Yeah, sure. I weren't going to get the FPOS out or anything like that.
And I pretty much, it sort of alternated between, I'd sort of do a project of, say, building a houseboat, which would take a few months.
Yeah.
And then I'd go off travelling with them.
Yeah, right.
And
nice.
I did a few houses as well. We went from boats to also doing painting and renovating and tiling and, all that sort of stuff.
Just whatever was available, you could turn your hand to.
Yeah. But it was pretty good, and I ended up usually working for about half the year and then buying a round the world ticket and fucking off for half the year.
So you did quite a bit of travelling in that time. Yeah.
And then when Annie got pregnant with Sam, then I started the t-shirt printing business, and that was fully legal. Yeah.
Sure.
Chamber of Commerce permits and accounting and the whole lot. Yeah.
So before that though, like as well, you had other jobs. I mean, you don't have to discuss this if you want, but the cafes and the.
Oh no, I forgot about that. I worked for a couple of years in a cafe. Yeah. As the house dealer.
Yeah. So how was that structured?
What
were your responsibilities and what did you do there?
Sell dope. That's it. 2 words.
Yes, of course, Simon. But how did that work? I find that time interesting. That
was just basically I I'd come back from Nepal and I had hepatitis. So I was working as a night porter. And they used to have all these boat hotels out the back of Central Station. They're gone now.
Okay.
But big old ships that were turned into youth hostels. They were behind the Central Station, which is a really, really dodgy area of town.
They still have them in parts of Europe.
They still have them in Amsterdam too, but they moved them from the back of Central Station.
Oh, do they? Okay.
They moved them to an area, and they made them. They came down with a lot more regulations and
sure,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was working as a night porter.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't do anything because of the hepatitis, you can't lift anything. You can't.
Yeah.
So you have to take it easy. And a friend of mine was working as a dealer in this coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when you're the night porter, if you're going and staying in a hotel in Amsterdam, you want to buy a quantity of drugs to take home.
Mm.
And I'm only talking marijuana and hash here. I never dealt in anything else.
Sure.
Just the smoko.
Yeah.
Who would you
shrooms?
Huh?
Did you ever do the shrooms then?
No.
Just pot and hash.
Yeah, because shrooms wasn't available then.
Wasn't it really? Okay.
No, you get your shrooms from people who, hippies who go and pick them in Wales and whatever, and they come over once a year with the shrooms and you stock up,
Sure.
But it wasn't a commercial thing that went on. It is now. They've got shops that sell them,
Sure.
The smart shops and that,
But back in the mid to late 80s, it still wasn't.
Yeah, no, you just have
around.
you have to score your shrooms, in September when the hippies would come over and they want to swap them for a bit of hash and
Sure.
Yeah. And so from my friend in the coffee shop, when people come and ask me, can we can get half a kilo or a kilo of whatever to take back with us, I go and speak to my mate in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And a job came up at the coffee shop, and of course, because I'd already been working with them and moved a lot of stuff, and they knew me at the coffee shop, they offered me the job.
Yeah, right.
And it was basically, once again, fully commission based.
Yeah, sure.
You didn't have to actually have your own hash. You sold the boss's hash and that.
Yeah.
You counted up at the end of the night and you worked out your profit and put it in your pocket like that.
Yeah.
And went home.
And off you went.
And it was the only time in my life that I've ever been underworked and overpaid.
It would have been a very easy sell, like the easiest thing you would have had to sell.
Mate, like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. People would just literally come in, because what else are you going to go into a coffee shop for?
Well, coffee. People did go there for the coffee too.
Yeah, and the talk, and to hang out, of course, things like that. But especially the marijuana.
The one that I was working at was also one that was very, very well known locally. Because a lot of them are just tourist places.
Yeah.
We had a large clientele of locals who'd come in there.
Okay.
And I'm talking all sorts of people.
So you're real regulars.
Tram drivers, police, lawyers, doctors. Like you go and pick up your bottle of wine, red wine on the way home. Sure. You pick up your little bag of hash or marijuana to have your smoke when you get home, sort of thing. And so basically, you'd always have a queue of people. Yeah. And we had a couple of photo albums. Sure. And this one was for the grass, this one was for the hash, and every page had 4 or 5 different kinds. And they'd say, one of those.
So you just pull it out of the pockets?
No. That was just the display. And you
okay.
In the back you'd have, if they want that one, you've got a whole.
Really? So how many varieties did you have?
Like 40.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, right. Okay.
40, 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
To this day, the best pot I've ever smoked was in Amsterdam, and we got it wrapped in a tobacco leaf. Yeah. Came wrapped in. I've never seen anything like it before. It was wrapped in a tobacco leaf. I can't remember. This is so long ago, and I can't remember what it was. But there's nothing better. It was like living the kid's dream in a coffee shop in Amsterdam, smoking the best pot I've ever smoked.
I'll tell you something. I've travelled a lot of places where smoke comes from. Like if you're talking Nepal, if you're talking Manali up in India, or Africa, a lot of the places.
You've been there, and
I've been there.
Tried it out,
and you never get a good smoke. Or you get, mate, that's bullshit. You get decent smoke there. Yeah. But they all tell you all the best stuff straight to Amsterdam. Sure. Yeah. So in Amsterdam, you're going to get the best of the best because, hey, over there it's a quality thing too. Yeah, sure. I mean, over here you want to buy a smoke, you'll take anything. Yeah. No matter what it looks like. Yeah. Over there, if it doesn't look the part, no, not interested. Yeah. There's some nice plump heads, and you know what I mean. It has to. It's like you go into any sort of, if you go into a bakery and they throw a bit of Vegemite toast on your plate, you're going to go, what the fuck's that? But if they put a nice, you know what I mean? That's what nice focaccia with a...
Well, like the literal coffee too, you go to Melbourne, that's why it's so cheap and it's so good over in Melbourne, because there's so many places over there. If you serve up a shit cup of coffee, that's expensive. No, you're not going to be in business. Well, exactly. You can get away with that in Perth though, unfortunately. And that used to be getting better. That used to be part of the job, was market research and quality control. No, seriously,
the manager would come up to you and he'd say, someone's just bought it, because a lot of this, you get a lot of regular stuff, the regular Moroccan, what's called French papers, that come in by the ton.
Sure.
As much of that as you wanted, and the diesel soap and the Jamaican grass.
All over the world.
Yeah, by the ton you get this stuff.
Yeah, right. Literally coming in shipping containers.
You get some specialised hippies who would sort of go somewhere and really, really work out the best stuff.
Sure.
And bring back maybe a kilo of it, and they'd come around to the coffee shop and try and sell it.
Yeah.
And you'd have to try it.
Yeah.
And the manager would say, have a smoke of that.
Yeah.
And take a piece of that as well for the morning, so you have that as your first smoke in the morning.
Sure.
You have to do a report on it. How was the stone? How long did it last? Did you feel afterwards? Market research and quality control, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So there's two types of marijuana, sativa and the other one, indica. Yeah. So what was prevalent in that time in Amsterdam?
I can't remember which one. It was the one that you smoked. I can't remember which one's which.
Sativa's more of makes you the mind go and makes you more talkative.
No, it's basically one of them you smoke as marijuana, and one of them isn't so good to smoke as marijuana. But
that's the indica, I think.
That's what you make the hash out of.
You're right. Yeah, but that's more of just a stone. It's just more of a.
No. You got all the different sort. It's all same. Only one of them's a resin and one of them's the actual.
Maybe we're not talking about the same thing then.
Yeah, indica and sativa.
Yeah, but I thought you could smoke both and both get you stoned.
Yeah, you can smoke both, but one of them is more given to making hash out of.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's indica then.
Yeah, it could be.
Anyway, whatever it is.
One of them.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So was hash more prevalent back then, or?
Oh, it depends.
Was it 50-50? People, whatever they want.
It depends. If you get Americans coming through, they never see hash. Australians never see hash.
Yeah.
Poms, hash.
Yeah, sure.
Italians, hash.
Yeah.
All the Europeans, hash, because they get that in from Morocco. Morocco. The weed in Morocco is not that good for smoking, but they specialise in hash.
Lots of resin. Yeah.
Lots of Afghanistan. I mean, when I first got to Amsterdam, any coffee shop you'd go into, there'd be big signs on the wall. Help smoke the Russians out of Afghanistan. Buy Afghani hash and support the Mujahideen.
Really? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you go, okay, I'll do my bit.
Sure. And now they're doing that with the cocoa fields in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But it's a subject for another time.
No.
Poppy fields. Sorry. Yeah. But before that though, you didn't smoke marijuana at all, did you?
No, before I went to Amsterdam, no.
Yeah.
I had the occasional smoke here and there, but
it wasn't really your thing.
No.
Yeah.
I got stuck into it there. I made up for lost time.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, it was obviously a valuable experience. I would have thought that time and that period in your life to be able to do that and spend that time.
Well, it was
there
all very unreal and surreal. It really was. It was sort of
especially with the marijuana use as well.
Yeah, well, everything together, with the. I mean, look, I tried other stuff as well.
So you did psychedelics as well?
Yeah, that time at the Rajneesh commune, we got into a bit of ecstasy, a bit of acid, mushrooms, that sort of thing. Hallucinogenics and stuff like that. Never touched the powders. Not interested. Not coke, not heroin, none of that shit.
Sure.
But the hallucinogenics, and look, with the hallucinogenics too. Did it for a period of about 3 months, and then I was sort of over it, and then it became something I did maybe once every 6 months or once every year or something like that.
Sure.
Just, when on a special occasion
when you felt right,
when the stars were aligned,
when it was a full moon.
Yeah, but there was a good party on.
Sure. I don't know because we don't catch up as often as we used to, but I don't know if everybody explained it. That psychedelics is something I've been getting more interested in lately, and with ayahuasca, I've had that a couple of times, and been getting into mushrooms again, and I think I'm probably going to be the same. I can only see myself doing this the rate I'm doing it for a short term, and then learn as much I can from it, and then just whenever after that.
Well, I think acid is an incredibly it's a mind opening drug.
I haven't had acid yet.
And it really is. It's really something amazing.
What would you explain? How can you explain to the listeners out there what it did for you and how it's shaped your life since?
Just helped me see things completely different. Art and music. You listen to music on acid, and it's just it's a whole experience that goes through you. It's not just like you turn on the radio and listen to the music.
And it's something external to you that might be coming in this.
And you're hearing things in the music that were actually always there, but you've never discovered that layer.
I've had that with marijuana though too.
Oh yeah, you can get that with strong marijuana, but with acid, it's more so. It really takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
But the other thing about it is that it also gave me the self-realisation that yeah, I've done enough of this now. It's becoming something that's not so special.
Yeah.
It's becoming something that I'm just doing.
It's unimportant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not really enjoying the come down, and you know, when I weigh it all up, no, I'm not really interested in it anymore.
Sure.
And then, you know, every now and then you do. And I actually got back into it a little bit in the time when I did the t-shirts, because sometimes you'd end up at a 3-day rave. Now, unless you're on the right medication, that music just drives you nuts. So you drop a little tab every now and then, you just groove with the music, because you're stuck there for 3 days. And,
you wouldn't want to be sober.
Off their faces. You wouldn't want to be off their faces.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I never took the wife and kids to those sort of festivals.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and also if we go to a place like Glastonbury, usually every year that'll be our big party. Saturday night, close the shop a little bit early. The last night of the festival, all the headline acts and everything like that.
Yeah.
Take a spot of something nice and just go out and party all night.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that period in time was definitely worthwhile, but you didn't need it any longer. But it's something that you've stayed with you for the rest of your life, and just that alternate reality, I guess. And
look, it opens your mind, and you see things. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
I would have thought it's a good thing. But the thing is, it takes us high to our last podcast I did with my friend Daniel. He's into the psychedelics, and like you said, society's constructed itself in a way to keep everyone safe and keep everyone. You take psychedelics and it takes you away from that. So maybe it is a bad thing in that it takes you out of this construct of what society is going to be, and could be a reason for the explosion of this society, which again, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
And look, I can also see how people get fucked up on it.
Yeah.
You know, I do see how people can get fucked up. I mean, I knew this guy at the Rajneesh commune. He was an English guy. He was one of the runners, and he used to sit in his room and drop a tap of acid every day.
Yeah, but Simon, that's abusing it.
And he was stuffed.
Yeah.
He was out there. He was a serious space cadet, you know.
Yeah, but then to me, I'm like, well, that's too bad.
To me too, and that's why after I'd been doing it for a while and we had a little period of partying and everything, I was like, okay, enough, been there, done that now. Yeah. And the experience is good and stuff, but I want to stop it now. Before it becomes something that's no good. Sure. You know. Sure. And the good thing about psychedelics, of course, is that it's completely non-addictive. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And quite often, most people do get to a stage where you did, and you're like, I've had enough now. Yeah. It doesn't become addictive as in you need it. That's right. It's just, I've done enough. And I actually like the fact that, you know, a place like Amsterdam is you've got that freedom to do that without, you know, and kids can experiment, and it's a good thing that they experiment because they do it here too. Yeah. And believe me, the kids here will take a lot more drink and a lot more drugs than they will in a place like Amsterdam. Yeah. And worse drugs. Sure. I mean, believe me, you go to Amsterdam and try and find, you know, meth. Yeah. They don't need it. They've got real drugs there. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't need the stuff that people cook up in their bathrooms. They've got all the good organic stuff. Yeah, exactly. Which is the drugs we should be taking. What was that? Sound like a cat. Yeah, it was. I think it was Baxter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's, you know, humanity has progressed along. You know, you know who Terence McKenna is, the philosopher. Yeah, Terence McKenna. So he has a stoned ape theory where he believes when, you know, his theory of evolution is that when we came out of the canopies onto the grasslands, climate was changing, mushrooms developed. We started eating mushrooms. And those psychedelic experiences are what's responsible for increasing our brain capacity and our creativity. And it's been proven that humanity, we've been using psychedelics from the dawn of time. And that's why it's always been. It's only been recently these synthetics have come in and really damaged the sort of fabric of society with these synthetics. Yeah, because don't forget LSD is a synthetic as well. Yeah. Sure, well, LSD it is, yeah. It's a synthetic of psilocybin, of mushrooms, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's similar. Similar, right. Sure. Well, one thing's for sure is I don't regret any of it, and I feel a lot richer for having. Yeah. And my understanding of music and art is greatly enhanced by that. That stays with you. Yeah. Awesome. You look at things differently. Sure, and you look at humanity as well differently. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The universe on a whole. Yeah. Without going too woo into it, that's really what it does, isn't it? Yeah. You know, it just allows you to comprehend it and appreciate it a lot more. You know the old book, The Door laws of perception. That's what it's all about. It's all about acid.
Sure. Yeah. I have to read that book, but it's on the to-do list. Yeah, for sure. Well, so I think we might wrap up there. We're definitely going to get you on again because we've got a lot more to talk about. You've got a quite interesting life, so there's a lot more to talk about. But I think the West Coast Eagles is about to start, so
God damn it.
we'll make our way to the TV. It's starting in a couple of minutes, and we'll watch that. And but thanks very much for having a chat to me. I've had some amazing conversations with you over the last few years,
we have.
I've really learned a lot from you, man. I've got to thank. I've honestly, I don't know if I've ever thanked you, but I really have to thank you for. You've definitely helped me see things in.
I'm gonna start blushing, Adrian.
Don't do that. You've definitely helped me see things in a different way. I mean, I think I would have got to this point where I am eventually, but I think you've just been one of amongst a number of people that have helped me get to this point in my life where I am now. So yeah,
More than welcome.
yeah. So thank
Mr.
you.
President.
And we'll definitely do it again next time.
No worries.
All right, cool. So thanks everyone for tuning in and listening again to this, and hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll definitely have Simon back again at a later date, and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, again, if you have any questions or would like to get back to me about any topics or anything you'd like us to discuss, let us know, and we'll look at it from there. But until next time, we'll see you then. Cool.
It's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from him.
Thanks again, Simon.
No worries.
Excellent.
Hey, what are we going to do about food tonight?
There's that Chinese place up there.
Oh, Chinese.
That Bain Marie. They've just got a Bain Marie, and you just pick out what you want. So, yeah.
Whereabouts is that?
Just up the road here. We can go there now before the game starts if you want.
What
do you
want
want
to
to
wait? Half time?
Yeah, halfway till half time. No, the only thing is sometimes if you wait till later in the night, it's not really. There might be stuff taken. What if we go now and then
Okay.
we'll just put it in the oven or whatever and just eat it when we're ready?
Yeah, boss. No worries.